Good morning, Unity. We are so happy to be with you this morning. It is an honor and a pleasure. Anything is possible when you believe. Anything is possible when you believe. Faith can make a mountain move when you believe. Faith can make a mountain move when you believe. Don't you know that you can change a life when you believe? Don't you know? Don't you know that you can change a life when you believe? Oh, in yourself, when you believe in yourself. Everything you want, you got. When you believe, you want it, you got it. Everything you want, you got. When you believe in yourself, 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 when you believe. I believe I can make a miracle. I believe you can make a miracle. Since we believe in each other, can make a miracle. There ain't nothing we can't do. We can make a miracle. We can make a miracle. 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 Make a miracle. Anything is possible when you believe.
Good morning, Unity of Omaha. Hello, my name's Elisa Choquette. I am so happy to be back with everybody, at least in this way. I am full of zeal, one of our Unity powers. I love it. So welcome. Thank you for joining us on this amazing Sunday. So I'm especially grateful to be here today just because I get to celebrate Pride Month with everybody. As an ally, as a mother of an amazing LGBTQ daughter, I just love standing in your light, so thank you for letting me celebrate at Unity of Omaha during this amazing month of Pride. And if you love what Unity of Omaha does, we are pretty incredible, if I do say so myself. Then like us. So head on over to Facebook. Hopefully you're already there watching us, or YouTube. And like our page, we have so many great things that are coming back into the flow, and lots of great affirmations and things going on in the meantime. So like our page on Facebook, there's great stuff there. And since it's the first Sunday of June, if you have a birthday or any special anniversary, special event, we really want to honor you in this month of June. And so, hey, stand where you're at. We can still honor you in that way. And up here, we're going to honor you with a song.
May God bless and keep you always. May your wishes all come true. May you always do for others, let others do for you. May you build a ladder to the stars and climb on every rung. May you stay forever young. May you stay forever young. May you stay forever young.
Thank you, guys. I am definitely forever young. I'm claiming it today. All right, so Just a little bit of business before we get our spiritual nutrition on. After service today, we still want to be in community, so you can join us in our Zoom chat that starts 10 minutes after service ends. The link will be in the comments here on Facebook, so you can join us for that. Also, we know that prayer is such an integral part of unity. We still want to support everyone, even in this virtual distancing. So if you have a prayer that you would like to find support with, then go ahead and email us for our chaplains at prayer@unityomaha.org. Our chaplains are still here for you and want to support you. Speaking of support, if you still want to support your home, Unity of Omaha, the show must go on. We're still here for you. So we so appreciate all of your gifts. You can send them just regular mail to our address, or you can even go online, and there's donate buttons online on our website, and oftentimes in the comments again here on Facebook. So thank you for being here and showing up as you always do. And just another reminder, that fellowship afterwards for the Zoom meeting, it's really fun to just see those faces that we're missing right in the meantime. So hope to see you there. And one more bit of business. We still have those masks that one of our members made for everybody, so you can go ahead and order one of those masks. They're only $5.50, and that just covers the expenses for the materials and the shipping, and that way we can really appreciate and celebrate wholeness and well-being, another facet of Unity of Omaha, so just one way to reach out to you guys in this moment. So, Unity of Omaha, why are we here doing what we're doing? We have a vision, and that vision truly is a prayer. And so I want to say it in that prayerful energy. Our vision is, in oneness with universal energy, we celebrate a world united in divine love. So how do we get there? I have a hard time uniting my kids just to get the laundry done. So this is a big goal, a big vision. So we have a mission. This is Unity of Omaha's mission. We raise vibrational consciousness through creative teachings, positive prayer, and a nurturing community. Again, we're so glad that you're a part of that nurturing community with us. Our prayer chaplains, again, even though we're not here together in the building, they're here for you. Just go ahead to go to email at unityomaha.org, and they're there for you. And then speaking of prayer, let's go ahead and start off this time with the foundation of unity, that of positive prayer. I invite you to close your eyes if you're comfortable, to take a deep breath, and move into the space as we reflect on this month's theme of well-being. When I hear the word well-being, I, of course, think of health, but it's so much more than that. My soul, when it hears the word well-being, hears something entirely different. What my soul heard was, am I well, being who I am being today? It's an important question to ask ourselves right now, so let's ask it again. Am I well, being who I choose to be today? For it's one thing to judge my successes of the day, my missteps, but it's another thing entirely to ask who I was being when I made those acts. And if I am well, then I know I'm at least on the right track. But if I don't feel well, being who I was being in those choices, then I can make a change. And it's not just about me. It never can be, for because of unity, we know we are all connected. And that's not just a Hallmark card. We are powerfully connected at an energetic level, so what happens to me eventually happens to all. And so I need to ask more than am I well-being? I need to ask, is he well with me being who I am being today? Is she well with me being who I chose to be today? Are they well? Is our planet well with me being who I chose to be today? And if the answer is no, then I will be something different. So today, affirm with me that I will first choose how I am being, because we are eternally connected to the divine. We can be nothing but. So come from that place. I will be love before I act. I will be patience before I speak. And I affirm that. I am well with me. I am well being who I am today. And so it is.
Hi, Mama Winston. I know that my good is here now. I am loved, supported in all I achieve. It doesn't matter why or how. I am grateful for everything I have received. I am rich beyond measure. I have more than my wildest dreams. I am a powerful, creative, spiritual being, fulfilling my destiny. I am rich beyond measure. I have more than my wildest dreams. I am a powerful, creative, spiritual being, fulfilling my destiny. I am rich. I know my purpose for living. I am sharing my gifts with everyone I meet. I prosper as I am giving. I am whole, I am happy. I am complete, I am rich beyond measure. I have more than my wildest dreams. I am a powerful, creative, spiritual being, fulfilling my destiny. I am rich beyond measure. I have more than my wildest dreams. I am a powerful, creative, spiritual being, fulfilling my destiny. I am rich beyond measure. I have more than my wildest dreams. I am a powerful, creative, spiritual being, fulfilling my destiny. I am rich beyond measure. I have more than my wildest dreams. I am a powerful, creative, spiritual being, fulfilling my destiny. I am rich.
Today's daily words of inspiration are offered by our prayer chaplain, Lucy Long, and it's from Brene Brown's book, Braving the Wilderness. True belonging is the spiritual practice of believing in and belonging to yourself so deeply that you can share your most authentic self with the world and find sacredness in both being a part of something and standing alone in the wilderness. True belonging doesn't require you to change who you are. It requires you to be who you are. Spirituality is recognizing and celebrating that we are all inextricably connected to each other by a power greater than all of us, and that our connection to that power and to the one another is grounded in love and compassion.
Show me the innocence of my sister. Show me the innocence of her heart. It's not my place to judge her, but only to show love. Show me the innocence in us.
Show me my innocence. Show me your innocence. Show me. In all our relations, we must make a choice. In every situation, we must be the voice of love. Show me the innocence.
Show me
of
the
my
innocence
brother.
of
Show
love.
me the innocence of this world. Even though we may be different,
Only to
even
show
when we can't
love.
agree, show me the innocence in me. Show me the innocence.
Oh, show me the innocence.
Show me your innocence. Show me. Even though we may be different.
And at times we disagree.
Show me the innocence in me.
Oh, thank you for that reminder to not only ask others to show us their innocence, but to see that in ourselves and to see it in others, even when it may not have that appearance. Because we know at the core of everything that we are still that innocent expression of the divine. So guess what? It's a new month. Isn't it great? So this is our new month. This focus that we're having this month is well-being. Our affirmation for the month is, my heart knows well-being, no matter the circumstances. And isn't it interesting that we have been challenged this year? You know, we talk about seeing 2020 in 2020, and boy, we're seeing a lot, aren't we? And we know that from our inner being, that no matter what the outer circumstances are, that we have the capacity for well-being, because it's our choice and it's our experience to have. So this morning I want to talk a little bit about embracing the good. You know, and it's been interesting because through the years and becoming part of Unity, I've heard a lot of things. You know, those Unity people, all they do is see the good. It's just, you know, I had somebody at one point told me that it was the banana pudding ministry. That was all fluff and sweetness. But what I've come to understand is that if you're truly a truth student, if you're truly active in learning the Unity ways, there's nothing easy or fluff about it, because it calls us into a higher experience of who we are and into a higher expression, that we examine those things within us and allow ourselves to heal. Because to me, that's the biggest part of well-being, is that we are being well within ourselves. So there's a Bible verse that is being used this month, and it's called, "Keep your heart with all vigilance, For from it flows the spring of life. And that comes from Proverbs. And I got to thinking a little bit about that. It's like, okay, so in the metaphysics of it, and I think really if we got into the true teachings in the time, what they were saying was that that heart is true divine connection, divine mind. Because we talk about, Charles Fillmore, one of our co-founders, talked about the heart being the abode of God. And so if we are keeping that true connection, that vigilance with our heart, then what we're doing is we are really focusing on that connection. And see, for me, it really has to do with the fact that we have to keep that connection, because in that connection comes all well-being. In that connection, we are moving from anything else that might be going on into that place of our divinity. So what happens when we don't keep our heart? I think we've seen a lot of that over the last several weeks. Because when we don't keep our heart, what happens is we get lost in our mind. Now, I'm not telling you that you've lost your mind. And I'm not admitting that I've lost mine. Even though, from time to time, I wonder. But it means that we're lost in our mind because we've lost that connection and we're in that busyness. And when I think about us in a representative physical sense, I feel like we are dualistic creatures. You know, we talk about that we don't really deal with dualistic theology, that there is only one presence and one power, God the good, omnipotent. That's one of our principles. But us as beings, we are kind of dualistic. We have our God nature, our divinity, our source, our wisdom, our universal consciousness, and we have our humanness. And when we get lost in our humanness, we have not been vigilant with staying in connection with our divinity. It's in our humanness that we lose sight of the good. It's in our humanness that we may see other things that aren't good. We may show up in ways that aren't good. And so it's important that we do keep that vigilance with our heart, that we stay in connection, that we listen, that we engage with our true divine nature. And I've said this many times, and as a heart math coach and mentor, what I teach is that when you are going into your heart space, into that place of divine connection, and you may be asking a question, you may be seeking guidance or direction. And when you're doing that, and if you're getting a solid yes or a solid no or just a solid answer, there's a real good chance it is coming from your higher source. But if you're getting a lot of yeah, but, or maybe, then guess where you are? Once again, you're lost in your mind. You're lost in all that minutia. You're lost in all of those things that come about that are products of the news media, products of your teaching, your parents, your religious dogma from the past. Because you are not really connected in with your direct divine source. So mind your heart. So the other thing that comes to me in regards to this whole piece of well-being and looking for the good is it reminds me, as I was reading this and reading some more information about our theme and how we're moving, it reminds me about the story in John that talks about the pool of Bethesda. Now, Bethesda, it was a pool that was just inside, I believe it was called the Sheep's Gate in Jerusalem. And around the pool, the people who had infirmities would lay around that pool. And there was certain times when the waters would be stirred. And it was taught in that day, it was believed that when the waters were stirred, it was actually an angel reaching down and stirring the waters. And that if you were of the first to get in that pool, that you would be healed. And during one of Jesus' experiences and this is one of the first miracles that were talked about. He came upon the pool, and there was an old fellow, not even old, he was 30-some-odd years old, laying there in his infirmity. And when Jesus said, what are you doing? What's up, man? What's going on? He said, well, I don't have anybody to put me in the water. whenever the angel stirs it, when the healing begins. I don't have anybody to put me in there. So I'm just laying here waiting, trying. Every time I get to it, it's too late. And Jesus just looked at him. And he said, take up your mat and walk. Take it up. And the man got up and he picked up his mat and he walked. And Jesus said, and go and sin no more. What this reminds me of is don't wait for someone else to rescue you. Don't wait for somebody else to do for you what you can do for yourself. You need to have that faith. Our well-being is not dependent on somebody else. Our well-being is not dependent on stimulus checks or on people to change laws or rules. Our well-being is something that is within us. And we have to take our steps, whatever that looks like, because we're each individual beings. And so for each one of us, we take our individual steps. So don't wait for someone to rescue you. God or divine consciousness, the higher power, universal mind, is the source of your well-being. Believe it and you will be healed. So see, this is what Jesus did with this man. It's like, what are you waiting for? You have the capacity. Why is it that you keep laying there waiting for somebody else? Stand up. Take action for yourself. We are in charge of our own well-being. We have the capacity to shift our minds, to see our good. And it starts with us making that journey. It's often referred to as that 18-inch journey from being lost in our minds into the embracing divinity of our hearts. As we move there, we open the opportunity to see good, to embrace good, to step out of fear. Because that's another thing I'll tell you. Fear doesn't live here. Fear doesn't live in our hearts because fear is not of the divine. Fear is something that is manufactured in our minds. So when we're lost in our minds, we're lost in fear. And that's the peace that in these times and all times, this year more than any, it's been interesting because this year more than any, I have seen more fear rising up in people that I thought got it. It's not about being afraid. It's about moving into that place of knowing, that place of embracing the good, embracing the truth. And the truth is, when you are encased and engulfed in the divine energy of love, there's no room for anything else to come in and be seated. So I invite you to be seated in that energy of love, to be seated in that wisdom of the heart. And in there, open your eyes to what's good around you. You know, I've watched a lot, and I'm not watching as much now as I was earlier in the week, but I've watched a lot of what's been going on. And I've seen things shift. I watched people looting and breaking and destroying and setting fires and all of that. And that's not with that pure innocence of standing up for your rights. That's people taking advantage of situations. And as I've watched things shift over the course of the week, I've seen the hearts get opened. And I've seen people embrace each other, no matter what the color, no matter what the background. And see, for me, that's what we are in Unity of Omaha. We don't care about skin color. We don't care of background. We don't care of sexual orientation, of gender identity. None of that matters because what we see is the heart. We see the heart. We embrace the heart. Do we honor all the diverse backgrounds? Absolutely. Do we stand together? We do. But we stand together in the energy of love. We stand together in that knowing of all that is divine, that is within us and within all people. Because when all of this falls away, we have a choice. We can see the good through our hearts, through the eyes of our hearts, or we can get lost in our minds and stir up more chaos and madness. We have the ability to act from this place. We have the ability to act in the consciousness of well-being and love. And so I encourage us all to do that. I encourage us all to be that presence. In the place of chaos, we have the ability to be the peace. In the place of the madness of someone lost in their minds, we have the ability to be that steadfast truth and shine from that place of love without judgment, without any form of anything other than compassion. For that is where the power is. And that's where the power of who we are comes forward. And so next week, we're going to talk about, it depends when it relates to our well-being. So be back with us next week and we'll find out what that's going to be about. So I'd like to take us now into a time of meditation. So I invite you to go ahead and either close your eyes, soften your gaze, or focus on I believe it's the butterflies that'll be on your screen. And as we do this, we do take a few deep breaths and move down into that heart space, down into that place of divine connection. For we are always connected. It's just whether or not we're tuning in. So in this moment, let's tune in. Tune in to the truth of our connection with the divine. Tune in to the core of the love in our being. We connect not only to Source, but to each other in this time. And we see with eyes of love. We feel with our heart of love. And we sense the truth of all beings having that spark, having that peace within them. And we hold that. We see that. We embrace that. No matter the circumstances, we are the expression of love. No matter the circumstances, we are the hands and the feet of the divine. We are the action. And as we move out of the busyness of our minds and really take up residence in that heart space, we do so with joy. For we keep our hearts with all vigilance, knowing that from it the springs of love and life flow. We keep a vigilance of embracing the good, of seeing the good, and honoring the well-being of all creation. I'm going to invite you to take a few moments of silence and allow yourself to move deeper into that space, to be totally absorbed with that energy of love that flows from our highest source in silence. So as we bring our focus back to here and now, as we come back into the space that we are occupying, whether it be in your home, in your car, sitting outside, or in this space, we bring forth with us that energy of divine love and that knowing of well-being. We bring it forward. We allow it to flood our entire physical source, physical being. We allow it to fill our minds. Oh, what a blessing. What a blessing to know and to have the opportunities to learn and experience these things. What a blessing to see the world through the eyes of love. To embrace the good. To live as the presence. For this is what we are called to do and how we are called to be. And we are blessed. And so as you come back into this space, we close this time of meditation. And through that, we claim our good. For we are the essence of God in expression. All human beings, all creation is the essence of God in expression. And for this, we are grateful. And so it is. Amen. So this morning is a little bit of a special morning. And Bill, I want to ask you to come up here with me.
Over there?
Yes, please, over here. Here, stage center. So I hear you're leaving our music team, per se.
Yes. Yes, I am.
Okay. And I don't have another microphone up here, but we wanted to tell you how much you have blessed us, how much we love you, and we know you're still going to be around, just in a different capacity.
That's right.
So we thank you for all that you've done and all you will continue to do. And so be blessed.
Thank you.
Okay. So like I said, he's not going anywhere. He's just not going to be sitting up here on stage. He's going to get to have more fun on a different level with us. So, all right. So I'm going to invite the singers to come forward because this is the time when we typically do our walk of abundance, our sacred walk of abundance. And it's a little hard for us to do unless you're going to get up and walk around your computer or your TV or whatever you have at home. But I do want to share something with you. And this is on the back of our donation envelopes that we have here at the church. And it says, "It is necessary to give freely if we are to receive freely. The law of receiving includes giving. The knowledge that substance is omnipresent and that people cannot therefore impoverish themselves by giving. Rather will increase their supply, will enable us to give freely and cheerfully." And that's a quote by Charles Fillmore, our co-founder. And so if you go to unityomaha.org, there is a donate button. We invite you to please do that. Or you may send a check to unityomaha.org, 3424 North 90th Street, Omaha, Nebraska. And there is one more thing I want to do. So you guys just chill. Okay, good. So I'm not just stalling for me, I'm stalling for her. So one other thing I want to ask you to do, and I'm hoping that all of you are still with us in the live feed. And even if you watch this later, I'm going to ask you to email me, especially those of you that are not in Omaha. Email me at becky@unityomaha.org and tell me a little bit about you. Because I see these names pop up and I see people from all over the country pop in, and I'm excited about that. But we also want to make sure that we are serving you in general. So please email me, and I'm hoping that the email address is up on the screen, and I'm being told it is. And just tell me. You know, you can put in the subject line, "Joining you on Sundays." And just tell me a little bit, your name, where you live, how you found us, what your background is. I promise to not inundate you with a bunch of stuff, but I just want an opportunity to connect. So please do that. You guys ready? Yes. Okay.
soul's belonging, where you know without a doubt that you made it home. Living in the house of the soul's belonging, coming back to the holy ground that you've always known. In the kingdom of love, there is no competition, no contradiction, and no control. But you can take possession and claim your passion, working on a building that cannot be bought or sold. Living in the house of the soul's belonging, where you know without a doubt that you made it home. Living in the house of the soul's belonging, coming back to the holy ground that you've always known. Step into the feeling of sweet surrender. Let yourself remember who you are. You can take your own sweet time and ease your troubled mind in the secret sanctuary of the heart. I'm living in the house of the soul's belonging, where you know without a doubt that you made it home. Living in the house of the soul's belonging. I'm coming back to the holy ground that you've always known. There is room for all the kindness you can hold, and you know you can take it with you everywhere you go. Living in the house of the soul's belonging, where you know without a doubt, where you know without a doubt that you made it home. Living in the house, living in the house of the soul's belonging. I'm coming back to the holy ground that you've always known. Come on back. Coming back to the holy ground that you've always known. Coming back to the holy ground that you've always known.
Wonderful. Did you get it? Did you get that that song was actually talking about that heart space? Isn't it perfect how that works out? You know, and I hadn't even really paid attention to the words that much until just then. I'm like, this is cool. It's perfect harmony. Isn't that wonderful how that works? Stop drinking. Oh, my word. I promise it's water, you know. Yeah, it's good water. Anyway. Oh, living water. That's it. That's it. Oh, so join me. So, you know, there was another teaching of Jesus, and he said that you need to move from that experience as if something has already happened. And so what we're going to do is we're going to bless the tithes, gifts, offerings, and investments into the mission of this ministry. We're going to bless them because we know that they are already on their way. So if you'll join me in blessing the abundance and the goodness that flows to us and through and to you. So we bless these gifts and offerings, knowing that as they are given in love, they move out through this community and into the world, carrying that love, seeding love wherever they go. And for this we are blessed, and so it is. Amen. So join me as we move out into the rest of our day, and we do so anchoring ourselves in the prayer for protection. And so here we go. The light of God surrounds me.
I am that light.
The love of God enfolds me.
I am that love.
The power of God protects me.
I am that power.
The presence of God watches over me.
I am that presence.
Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. Have a blessed week. Hopefully we'll see some of you at the fellowship time via Zoom. So enjoy the last of the music.
Living in the house of the soul's belonging, where you know without a doubt that you made it home. Living in the house of the soul's belonging, coming back to the holy ground that you've always known. In the kingdom of love, there is no competition, no contradiction, and no control. But you can take possession and claim your passion, working on a building that cannot be bought or sold. Living in the house of the soul's belonging, where you know without a doubt that you made it home. Living in the house of the soul's belonging, coming back to the holy ground that you've always known.
Step into the feeling of sweet surrender. Let yourself remember who you are. You can take your own sweet time and ease your troubled mind in the secret sanctuary of the heart.
Living in the house of the soul's belonging, where you know without a doubt that you made it home. Living in the house of the soul's belonging, coming back to the holy ground that you've always known. There is room for all the kindness you can hold, and you know you can take it with you everywhere you go. Living in the house of the soul belonging, you know without a doubt. that you made it whole. Living in the house, living in the heart and soul of the soul.